Hey there, hola, ¿cómo estás, friends and amigos from all over the world? It's your man, the one and only, the original Globe Master yaw-fosu. Now, tonight, I want to teach a little geography and historical lesson to my viewers, the non-European way, the way it should have been taught to us, but unfortunately, the Western education system has lied to us. All right, so the title is going to be The Non-European Geography by yours truly, yaw-fosu. Now, the first thing I'm requiring from you, my viewer, is to please open your mind and maybe you can learn something. You see, a genius can learn from an idiot if only that genius will swallow his pride and open his mind. Today, I'm going to teach you 10 geographical lies that we learned from the European school system here in America, in Europe, Africa, worldwide. Things they taught us that were totally false. First thing I'm going to start off with is that they told us that this world have 7 continents, which is completely false. yaw-fosu, I'm here to tell you, my dear family and friends, that in fact, this world only have 4 continents. 4 instead of 7. Okay? The European education taught us that this world have North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and Antarctica as continents. But yours truly, I'm here to debunk that myth and let you, my audience, know that the world only have 4. And here they are. See, the largest continent, you're looking at it, is Africa, the so-called Europe, and Asia. It's all one continent connected together. But the European education system lied to you and told you Europe is a continent away from Africa and Asia, which is a false lie, a complete lie, because they are physically connected. North and South America North and South America is one continent. Once again, the European lied to us and told us they are 2 separate continents simply because they dug a little, what I'll call a little gutter, or what they will call the Panama Canal, through this tiny little space right here, so their ships can move from one side of the ocean to the other. They call it a separation of continents, which is impossible to do by humans. So I'm here to debunk that and let you know, my friends, that North and South America is one continent, which is the second largest. Now, the third continent, unfortunately, is down here under the globe. And I'll have to physically twist the globe, which I don't want to do, to show you. It's under, which is Antarctica. And the fourth being Australia down here. They call it the land down under. Now, Australia is the smallest of the four continents. I'll give them the benefit of a doubt when it comes to Australia. Right? So this is the first lie they taught us through the European education system. Now, the second lie we learned from the European education is that there are 5 oceans on this planet. My dear friends, your man yaw-fosu, I'm here to tell you that's a lie too. They told us that there's the Arctic Ocean, the Antarctic Ocean, the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian, and the Southern Oceans. But the truth, my friends, there's only one ocean which surrounds the entire planet. They could name whatever part, whatever they want, but your man yaw-fosu is here to tell you that there's only one ocean. The nerve for them to even call this part here, this part of this ocean here, the Indian Ocean, when India is just a tiny mass of land right over here. Africa, they might as well have called it the African Ocean, because East Africa has a much larger land mass with that ocean than the tiny little India over here. But they will call it the Indian Ocean. My friends, none of that is true. The third lies they taught us in the European education system is the size of the continents and countries by the Mercator projection, the European drawn map on paper. First of all, I'm here to tell you that, my friends, the world, as you can see on this globe, is round, almost a sphere. And you cannot draw that on a flat piece of paper. So the European maps that we see drawn by the Mercator system, the Mercator projection, shows the distortion which make the entire northern section of the world 3-4 times larger than they actually are, and make the southern hemisphere very small. Complete lie. Okay? I'll give you an example. If you ever seen a world map on the wall, you will see that Greenland is the same size as Africa. Sometimes they even draw it a little bit bigger than Africa, when in actuality, Africa is 15 times larger than Greenland, if you include Madagascar. So my friends, that's something you need to look into. All right? They make, on the Mercator projection, they make Russia look larger than Africa. when in fact, Russia can fit into Africa 2 times and there will still be space left over. That's how large Africa really is. They make countries, tiny, tiny, itty bitty countries like England, France, Germany, look larger than they actually are. I'm here to tell you, my friends, it's all lies. The fourth lie they told us is the actual size of this mother continent, Africa. How they lied about the actual size of Africa. Africa is massive, humongous continent. And I'm going to tell you the original borders of Africa before the European dissection of Africa. You see, my friends, you see this here, this part of the world here. The European call this part here the Middle East. It's a lie. It's all Africa. Okay? That Africa's, this continent's natural borders is a river called the Euphrates River, which is right here. Flows into the Persian Gulf over here. That's the natural border over here. That's the natural border of Africa. And in the north, there are mountains over here called the Caucasus Mountains. That's what separated Africa from Eurasia, Europe and Asia. Physically, they are all one continent. But the river Euphrates over here separated the Negroid race from the Caucasoid race up here and the Mongoloid race to the east. That's something that you could do research and you'll find out what I'm talking about. It's nothing but the truth. Now, the fifth thing I'm going to talk about is land ownership by race. Now, my friends, you see, the Most High and His infinite wisdom created 3 races, 3 phenotypes of human beings on this planet. Any human being on this planet, you are either of the largest race called the Mongoloid race, which is the Asiatic people. The second being the Negroid race, which is the black people. And the third and last being the Caucasoid race, which is the white people or the Europeans. Now, when it comes to land ownership, the Mongoloid race, the largest of landowners, owns majority of the Asiatic landmass. Okay? And they also own natural landowners of the Americas, North and South America is owned by the Mongoloid race. Okay, the natives, indigenous people of North America and South America, one continent, are phenotypically Mongoloid. Anybody with a brain should know this. The second largest landowners is the Negroid race. The Negroid race land stretches from what is now called the Middle East, right here, through the entire mother continent of Africa, goes through southern Indian subcontinent. There's not really a continent. Go through this Indian peninsula. Okay. Now, through here, majority of the islands in the Pacific, natural inhabitants, natural owners, okay, from Papua New Guinea to Guadalcanal to Bougainville, majority Malaysia, and the last continent, Australia. All landowners are of the Negroid race, black people. Okay? You could even go further north from Formosa, which is now called Taiwan, to Luzon, the Philippines, majority of the Philippine islands, to Malaysia. All of these islands, natural inhabitants were black people before invasions from other races. Okay? Now, let's move on to number 3. The third race, the Caucasians, their land mass is very tiny from where this pen is, which is the western tip of Russia to the western tip of what I'll call Ireland and Greenland. Okay? 90% or probably more of Russia's land, all the way from Vladivostok to Moscow, St. Petersburg, and anything in between that is Russia, is stolen land from the Asiatic people. And this is a fact that I'm talking about. All right? Throughout history, land has changed ownership through invasions of people that are non-spiritual. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is spiritual people that believe in spirituality, do not conquer other people's land. Only non-spiritual people conquers, invade, pillage other people's land. Number six would be another geographical lie, which is the so-called Middle East, which is African stolen land. The so-called Middle East. Any Arab country that exists today, from Oman, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq. No, not Iraq. Iraq is actually east of the Euphrates. So Iraq belonged to Asia. So-called Israel, Lebanon, whatever. Any country, including Kemet. Well, I mean, Kemet is in Africa. Kemet is what the Arabs call Egypt now. The entire northern part of Africa, from Morocco to Egypt, is all occupied by invaders. That's something I will have to make another video about. Okay? So Africa is actually larger than they show on the world map. But the entire Northern Africa, including this part, which was actually Northeast Africa, is now called the so-called Middle East. It's stolen land and is occupied by invaders. The natural landowners and inhabitants, if you go back thousands of years, any human beings that were living in these lands west of the Euphrates are of the Negroid race, black people. Number 7, will be geographical and historical lies about discoveries. The biggest example I can give you is the European, the Caucasoid, claiming they discovered the Americas, when the truth is that ancient Kemet, which is now Egypt, and ancient China had maps thousands of years ago that showed the world, including the Americas. So maybe for the Europeans, Christopher Columbus was the first one to discover Americas. And the truth, if you really want to know, Christopher Columbus actually never set foot. He never even saw with his eyes North or South America. This is where he came to. This island here called Hispaniola, that's what they named it, which is now today's Haiti and Dominican Republic, one island. This is where Christopher Columbus came up to. He never saw the landmass of North and South America. Number 8, let me move back to the center of the world. Number 8, your geographical lies they taught us in school, European education, is that countries and territories. You see, before the European started sailing, Africans and Asians had sailed all over the world. And one thing they never did was claim territories or drew maps and claim this is my part, or this belonged to me, and this belonged to me. The Europeans did that. Okay? Example, this continent here, every single map that you see, every single territory or country that you see on this continent, including the so-called Middle East, was carved by the Europeans in the Berlin Conference. You could do a research on that and you'll see what I'm talking about. Number 9. One thing I can tell you is, geographically and phenotypically speaking, right? All skin folks are not kin folks, if that makes sense. Like, I am a person of West African background. Phenotypically, I'm a negroid, a negro, nigger. Some of you may call it. Phenotypically, I'm in the same race as somebody who's a landowner of Australia. You may call them Aborigines. The very first time I saw an Aborigine with my own eyes was when I traveled to Singapore with my wife. And I saw some of them. They were travelers over there too, physically. I was looking at one of them, and he was looking at me too. And in my mind, even though we are of the same race, we are completely different people. I was looking at him, and he was looking at me, and I'm pretty sure he was thinking the same thing. We may be of the Negroid race, phenotypically, but we are definitely different people. So don't let European education deceive you on that. The last thing I'm going to say, number 10, is every developed country in the world claim they are the center of the planet. The center of the world, the center of the world. Here in New York, where I'm making my video from right now, any American will say, hey, the center of the world is New York City. A British will say the center of the world is in London. A German will say Berlin. A Russian will say Moscow. A Japanese will say Tokyo. But my friends, my name is Yaw-fosu, and I'm going to tell you the truth. The center of the world is smack dab right off the coast of a town in Ghana, Africa, called Tema. 0 degrees longitude, 0 degrees latitude. Let me show you where it is. This is Ghana over here. And this is 0 degrees longitude, 0 degrees latitude. That's smack dab in the middle center of the world. So no matter where you are in the world, the center of the world is in Ghana, in Africa. So my friends, no matter how smart you are as a human being, if you want to open your mind, I'm pretty sure you learned something from this idiot called Yaw-fosu tonight. I hope you did. But if you want to stay in your ignorance and think Christopher Columbus was the first to discover America, when Africans and Asians have been crossing the oceans for thousands of years, then live with your ignorance. Okay? Geography make very less sense when you know that Africans and Asians were nomadic people and have been moving all around the world for hundreds of thousands of years, probably in the millions of years. I'm going to end this video. I hope and pray that my subscribers learn something from this video. You know, I have over 2,000 subscribers, but I only get about 200 who are faithful, real subscribers to watch my videos. And that's the way I prefer it to be anyway. I don't want fake subscribers. If I have what it takes to remove the fakers, they would have all been gone from my channel. Take care of yourself. And God bless and cheese ears.